everybody. Welcome to Dirty Mike Live. Just giving a boxing recap of what is going to be dubbed the super fight of this decade. Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, where we break down the biggest fights and stories in boxing. Today, we're talking about the highly anticipated showdown between Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, set for September 13th, 2025. This fight has everything: legacy, weight class challenges, styles that can create an instant classic. So first, let's talk about the biggest hurdle in the fight: weight class. Crawford is moving up 2 divisions to fight at 168, something most fighters would never risk. Canelo, meanwhile, has been dominating at super middleweight, and many believe his size and power would be too much for Bud. This is pretty serious looking at Bud going up to 168. It's easy to just assume Bud's going to go in there and dominate based upon previous performances, especially against Errol Spence, Sean Porter, and countless other people. But when we look at the weight class jump that he has to make, maybe he fights naturally at a good 160. But with rehydration clauses, you have Canelo Alvarez who could really blow up. And that really makes a difference. Bud Crawford just isn't just any fighter, though. We have to take into consideration his unmatched IQ, precision, and adaptability. He switches stances mid-fight, adjusts on the fly, and really can take clean. But will his skills be enough to neutralize Canelo's power? With those things on the table, I think that we will see an unprecedented reaction to that power. I think Canelo's age also plays a very big role in it. And the question is Canelo deteriorating? His match against Better BF, I think, is one of the most underrated matches where he was outclassed. There have been other matches where Canelo has competed against significant competition, but nothing likes of Bud Crawford. Well, plenty of things like Bud Crawford, and the one time he did, he lost. And with the style matchup, let's break down the styles. Crawford is sharp, calculated, and patient. He lets his opponent make mistakes. Canelo, on the other hand, pressures and punishes. His body shots can be Crawford's biggest problem. And we all know about Canelo's body shots. I've seen Canelo level an opponent. What he did against the Charlo brother was significant. It will be another representation of what I think we'll see against Bud Crawford, especially if he comes in shape. And I've never seen Canelo not come in shape. I mean, we're talking about the pride of Mexico here. And at this rate, if Bud doesn't win this fight, we got a lot of other things we got to talk about here, because Bud has other opponents he could face. I even asked myself this question: why is Bud making this jump? Why is Bud making this jump? This is a really big jump here. But when we think about the legacies that are on the line here, Canelo, his record is impeccable. Canelo's record in boxing is 63 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 39 wins by knockout. He has held multiple world championships across 4 weight classes, from light middleweight to light heavyweight, and is currently the undisputed super middleweight champion. Some of his most notable wins include Gennady Golovkin, which is an incredible opponent, Triple G, one of the best fighters I've ever seen. Miguel Cotto, a former champ, great. Sergey Kovalev, and Billy Joe Sanders. His most recent fight against William Skull on May 3rd, 2025, where he won by unanimous decision to retain his WBC, WBA, and WBO titles, while also claiming the IBF super middleweight title. We're talking about a distinguished fighter, one who is unmatched. And when we look at his losses, when we look at the people like Manny Pacquiao, and we look at Floyd Mayweather Jr., this man has only competed against the greats. He has fought everybody and has only lost against who we would call pound for pound 2 of the greatest fighters that have ever fought. Now, Terence Bud Crawford has an undefeated record of 41 wins, 0 losses, and 0 draws, with 31 wins by knockout. He has held world titles in 4 different weight classes, including lightweight, light welterweight, and light middleweight. Crawford is known for his switch hitting style, elite counterpunching, and ability to adjust mid fight. His most recent fight against Israel Metamov August 2024, where he won by unanimous decision and claimed the WBO interim super welterweight title. His next fight, we know it, the super fight, September 13th against Canelo. He's going to attempt to become an undisputed third weight class in a third weight class. And I have faith. I mean, every time I take a crap, I'm surprised it floats. I'm just kidding. The legacy and stakes. So for me personally, we have to really view Crawford's speed. Crawford's speed is elite, but Canelo's counterpunching ability could limit Bud's ability to take control. If Canelo closes the distance, does Crawford have the power to keep him honest? And these are questions that you got to ask. Canelo, with his constant push forward in that Mexican style, Bud, with his slippery as oil slick ability to move away from punches, how long can he keep that pace? We've seen him keep that pace all fight long in other fights. We've seen him maintain this throughout fights. We have to, really view, in my expert opinion, and I would say expert, some boxing legends have weighed in. Danny Garcia thinks Crawford's power won't translate to 168. Now that's pretty serious. But Danny Garcia, being a great fighter, great champion, or actually, yeah, I think he did win a championship. Danny Garcia, Philly Wolf. He was one of the people who I believe had the potential to be a great, but just didn't quite pan out in this new division of people fighting in the middleweight, welterweight division. I think the power won't translate to 168. I think the speed will. Eddie Hearns gives the edge to Canelo, but Shakur Stevenson believes Crawford can actually stop Canelo. And we all know Shakur Stevenson is a friend of Bud Crawford. They go way back. When it comes to betting and putting your money where your mouth is, don't take Shakur Stevenson's word. You're liable to lose your money. Because Shakur Stevenson, with some of his antics and his fight selection, I don't think we have anything to really worry about there. It depends on strategy. If Crawford keeps Canelo on the outside, he can win on points. But if Canelo forces exchanges, his power will take over. We're talking about Canelo Alvarez in the clutch, in an elevator, championship rounds, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up close and personal. I've seen Bud take shots, most of them not clean. I'd like to see how Bud reacts to a crafty, accurate puncher to see how he can really maintain his ability throughout an intense matchup like this. Legacy and stakes. What's on the line here, though? This isn't just about winning. It's about GOAT status. GOAT status. Who is the greatest of all time? If Bud Crawford wins, does he become a top 3 all-time great? And if Canelo loses, will his dominance at 168 start slipping? That's a good question. I think personally that if Bud Crawford wins this fight, as far as this decade goes, and the fighters that are surrounding him, Gervonta Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Sean Porter, a multitude of fighters, Errol Spence, ones who I can't name. Out of those group of fighters and those group of fighters who have been dominating the television and the internet and the media in general, yes, he will become the GOAT. Will he become the greatest of all time? These 3 weight classes, I think not. I think that Canelo is the highest step he has taken. But I don't know if him moving in to these type of fights gives him that GOAT status. What do you think? Hit me in the comments and let me know. I think personally that Bud Crawford has the ability to definitely dominate the Charlos, the names that we know. Like almost like he'll absorb all the fights that Canelo has taken over. And he will definitely put himself in position to be, as long as he is on our tongue, a great. He'll be a great amongst greats, but he will not be, in my opinion, the GOAT status. And if Canelo loses, will his dominance have 168 start slipping? I'd say yes. I've been waiting for this boy to fall down this flight of steps for 6 years now. But I'm surprised how Canelo hasn't been able to just hold his reins, stand at that top point. When I seen him fight Better Be If, I knew I thought he was slipping in. But right after that, the way he dominated Charlo was incredible. It was Charlo ran the entire fight. I've never seen a fight where it looks like the dude wanted to jump out the ring. And he stood his ground and didn't get knocked out. And I think that's that was the goal here. So will he start slipping? I don't think so, but I hope so. What comes next? Could the winner face David Benavidez, Jamel Charlo, or someone completely new? Well, let's put it like this. Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, bloodbath fight, middle of the ring. I don't think Canelo will take that fight at this far in his career. He doesn't really have anything to prove. He doesn't need to go into a bloodbath. This fight would benefit David Benavidez a lot more than it would benefit Canelo. So the question becomes, really, does Canelo want to take that fight? I think Bud, if he beats Canelo, will jump out of 168. I think that going to other fighters like David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo are not in his best interest. These fights are tough fights where it can go either way. And with this much on the line, with this much accomplishment, by jumping up this far to take Canelo, I don't think it would be wise for him to take on David Benavidez. But that's what's out there. There's sharks in the water, and there's sharks in the water circling. So it's up to him. I don't think Canelo will take it either. So David Benavidez is going to find himself with a vacant title, or he's going to have to really prove that and gain the media's support in that he could do this, that he could put that type of effort in and beat him. Fan reactions and fight hype, man. The buzz is huge. Trash talk between these two has been fiery, and the promotion is setting this up to be one of the biggest fights in boxing history. And I keep hearing that word. And that's the beautiful part about boxing. It's always one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Because when you love boxing, we're always looking for the next guy to step up, do his thing, and show us what he can do. Personally, that's something that I look forward to. That's something that I believe is always on the table when it comes to boxing. The buildup is intense. The fight itself could be a technical battle that we've seen in years, one of the best technical battles. I think that we won't be let down. Absolutely. So that's our breakdown of Crawford and Canelo. Who do you think wins? Let us know. Follow us on YouTube, Dirty Mike Live. Subscribe and stay tuned for the fight night coverage. We're ready to go, man.